Well, hello and good Friday evening, everyone. My name is Ren Wadsworth, filling in for John Martin today, and I'm joined by the lovely Tracy Smith, who's helping us lead off the show tonight with a look at the forecast. Hey there, Tracy.
Yes, hi there, Ren. Thanks for joining us today. We're so excited to see you.
I'm excited to be here.
Well, today we're still hanging on to some of that very cold air. And in fact, today we are setting a new record low at 9 degrees. That beats the old low set back in 2019 by a whole 4 degrees. Not only that, we are continuously picking up more snow. At this point, we are now up for the year at 6.7 inches compared to the average of 4.1. So we are definitely above the average at this point. Your record daily snowfall was set back in 1991 at 7.2. And of course, coming up in your full weather forecast, we are going to talk about that cold air remaining with us through the weekend.
Alrighty, thank you so much for that, Tracy. Taking a look at our roads right now, the Montana Department of Transportation reports that there is still scattered ice and snow on roads both in and around the Billings area. MDT also says light snow could lead to low visibility, and it's advised that drivers remain cautious as they travel. Now turning our eyes to some local politics, Senator Tester, along with outdoor advocates and hunters, held a press conference at the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation in Missoula. Colton Little joins us now with more on how the senator and his colleagues have found success in protecting hunter safety courses in Montana's public schools.
Well, thank you very much. Learning how to hunt safely and responsibly is important to many young outdoorsmen, but those lessons were on the brink of getting banned in Montana public schools. Today, Senator Tester discussed the signing of his bipartisan law to protect hunter safety in archery classes in our state's classrooms. Now, earlier this month, President Joe Biden signed into law a piece of legislation that was introduced by Senator Tester. This new law reversed the Biden administration's prior decision to prohibit the use of federal dollars from funding school archery, shooting sports, and hunter education classes.
That's why, as when Kyle said, the Biden administration announced that they were going to block federal funds from going towards hunter safety and archery courses taught in our schools. I'm going to tell you, the first thing I thought when I heard that, this ain't going to age well. We got to do something about this.
Now, Senator Tester led a bipartisan group urging the administration to reverse course and restore the funding to these programs. With the help of organizations like the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation and Backcountry Hunters, they were able to get a bill written and signed in just a few weeks.
From beginning to end, from the beginning of writing the bill to getting to the president's desk, was a few weeks. Literally unheard of. I've never seen it in my time in the Congress.
Now, Senator Tester went on to say that if we want the next generation of Montanans to be responsible firearm owners, then it's critical that they learn how to use these guns safely. Back to you.
Alrighty, thank you for that, Colton. In your money tonight, Northwestern Energy is rising their rates on electricity prices by 8%. Already over the last year, customers have watched their bills go up by about 28% as rates soared by 19% in October of 2022. This after the utility company filed for a general rate increase back in August of last year in an attempt to cover rising costs for the company. The latest raise will average out to an extra $3.50 per month. However, base rates for natural gas customers will slightly decrease by about $8. Many members of the community say the rate change could be too much, however, especially for lower income residents. Commissioners say they understand the concerns but are legally required to follow the evidence and approve any, quote, reasonable request. The changes will be put into place come November 1st. New at 5 tonight, today in Billings, local high school students attended the Montana Bioscience Alliance Careers in Healthcare to find out what the medical field might hold for them in terms of careers. According to the Montana Hospital Association, there is currently a shortage of medical professionals in the state, and today's event hopes to alleviate the lack of available workers. The event hosted more than 120 students who were able to speak with current healthcare professionals for some industry insight. Students in attendance got resume advice, information about the amount of schooling needed for certain careers, and much more. Billings West students McKenna and Caleb say today's event allowed them to see if the medical field is a good fit for them to go into. Take a listen.
So I'm able to ask a lot of different questions and and I don't know a lot about a lot of these specialties, so they're able to explain it to me and talk about the education and see if anything piques my interest so I can learn more about that and maybe go into that field.
Now, both students agree that today's event has inspired them to continue pursuing a career in the medical field after they graduate high school. But beyond that, it gives students the opportunity to grow their interest in the medical field, network and build connections with medical professionals, as well as with their peers who are interested in similar fields. And in continuing coverage tonight, the new Costco Center over in Billings at 3880 Zoo Drive officially opened today, and staff at the location shared that the new site is nearly 20,000 square feet larger than their previous building and has 320 more parking lots. The old Costco in the at-home building closed last night at 6 p.m. and will no longer be the go-to destination for bulk shopping. In America tonight, right now, several hundred miles of the state of Maine is on lockdown as law enforcement searches for a mass shooting suspect. Mike Valerio is in Lewistown with the latest.
With a mass shooting suspect at large, tight-knit communities living under lockdown are unable to grieve together, with shelter-in-place orders required for nearly 700 square miles of Maine.
I feel very lucky to be in my room, safe and sound. I know that I had friends that weren't so lucky and had to spend the night in the library or the dining hall.
Authorities, local, state, and federal, searching land, air, and water for the suspect, 40-year-old Robert Card.
A tremendous amount of law enforcement manpower, time, and effort is being utilized around the clock.
Federal investigators launched a, quote, dynamic entry search at the suspect's last known address and say they've seized a cell phone and a note left behind by the suspect.
Every minute that this goes on, we're more and more concerned, because what's the next thing that's going to happen?
Neighbors of the now wanted mass killing suspect say they are shocked.
It just didn't seem like that kind of individual. Like I said, people have problems, but you don't expect them to go off the deep end like that.
People are now speaking about their lost loved ones, like Leroy Walker, who says his son Joseph died a hero trying to stop the shooter at the bar and grill he worked at with a butcher knife.
Pray for everybody. Pray for the people that passed away with my son. Pray to the Lord that this doesn't happen again in our community.
In Lewiston, Maine, I'm Mike Valerio.
In world news tonight, internet and phone services collapsed in the Gaza Strip under intensified bombardment Friday night, largely cutting off its 2.3 million people from the outside world and each other, as Israel's military said it was expanding its ground operations in the besieged territory. The military's announcement signaled it was moving closer to an all-out invasion of Gaza, where it has vowed to crush the ruling Hamas group after its bloody incursion in southern Israel 3 weeks ago. Frequent explosions from airstrikes lit up the sky over Gaza City after nightfall Friday, when the blackout in internet, cellular, and landline services hit. A telecommunications company in Gaza announced a complete disruption of all communication and internet services due to the bombardment. An Israeli military spokesman said ground forces were, quote, expanding their activity in Gaza and that it is, quote, is acting with great force to achieve the objectives of the war. Some new information to share from the office of Governor Greg Gianforte tonight that he will be leading a trade mission to Taipei, Taiwan as soon as tomorrow, with representatives from the state's ag, manufacturing, photonics, and bioscience industries. Governor Gianforte hopes to grow economic development and partnerships between Montana and Taiwan, and said in part in a statement about the visit, quote, Montana has shared a strong bond with Taiwan, forged through educational exchanges, the trade of our high-quality commodities, and our shared values of freedom and free enterprise. I look forward to working with Taiwan over the coming years, end quote. In October 2021, the governor reopened the Montana Asia Trade Office to generate new business opportunities for Montana in the Far East. Taiwan is consistently one of Montana's top trading partners, purchasing more than $107 million in Montana goods like wheat, industrial machinery, and beef. They've also partnered with the state through the university system, developing programs at UM and Montana Tech. During the trade mission, the governor will meet with Taiwan's president, as well as trading and educational partners in the region. And all of this comes as Senator Jon Tester urges his Senate colleagues this week to support legislation that would prevent so-called foreign adversaries from China and Russia from buying up U.S. farmland and agribusiness.
When we're talking about somebody like the Chinese Communist Party, which is what Senator Rounds referred to, putting up a corn milling plant within miles of a sensitive Air Force base, and our agencies can't do anything about it, we need to give them the authority. We need to make sure that this doesn't happen. Because quite honestly, and some of you know this, probably all of you know this, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, they are not friends of ours. They want to do things to make us less than what we are today. So we shouldn't allow these bad actors to be on our soil. Honestly, the fact is that if they're there to have impacts on our food supply, that's bad business.
Senator Tester has introduced two bipartisan bills, the Protecting America's Agricultural Land from Foreign Harm Act and the Promoting Agricultural Safeguard and Securities Act. Both bills seek to prevent foreign adversaries from purchasing or leasing American farmland. We'll keep you updated on the passage of those bills throughout the United States Congress, on air here and on our website, nonstoplocal.com. FWP says warm and dry weather greeted hunters for the opening weekend of the general hunting season last Saturday. And despite less than ideal hunting weather this week, overall success rates for hunters stopping at check stations in Region 4 in Hardin were slightly above average and much better than last year. At Region 6 check station, the number of hunters checked was the highest in recent history, with 386 hunters checked in, a 59% increase over the average. They also report 7 elk brought to the check station over the weekend, along with 76 mule deer and 19 white-tailed deer, both above the long-term average. According to FWP, so far, the Region 4 checkpoint in Augusta, Montana also saw increased numbers of hunters in the opening weekend over the last year. Alrighty, everyone, we have a quick break coming up, but stick around. When we come back, Chief Meteorologist Tracy Smith is going to have your extended forecast.